Hi, Rocio and the rest of the Prosegur team. This video is intended to give you a very brief overview of Reflex, highlight its key characteristics, and show you that there is nothing else out there on the market that is comparable with regards to incident response plans. So the first thing I want to say is that Reflex is a mobile software platform to ensure that Chief Information Security Officers can do their jobs, which is to ensure that the incident response plans run as effectively and as smoothly as possible. It was created by Craig Brown with the input from many other very experienced CISOs, and I am on the business development side helping Craig launch this product globally. Now, if we look at slide number 4, we can see that Craig has all the industry certifications that you would expect from somebody with experience and profile, but more importantly, if we look at the next two slides, 5 and 6, we see his experience within software development and as a CISO. Craig has worked for some top-notch companies since the late 70s, including Digital, Lotus, Fidelity, Kaspersky, and now acting as Chief Information Security for Bright Horizons. It's here at Bright Horizons as Chief Information Security Officer where he noticed there was a gap within incident response plans, and that's exactly what Reflex is intended to do, to cover that gap. So let's start on slide number 7 by defining what is Reflex. It's the missing tool to help CISOs run incident response plans effectively from start to finish. It's like a GPS that directs incident response participants through the incident response process. I'd like to highlight 6 key points within Reflex. So if we look at slide number 8, key point number 1, it addresses common problems. Staff don't have a copy of the incident response plan. Staff don't have an updated contact list. No problem with Reflex because every time an incident is declared, every team member responsible for that type of incident will receive an updated plan and contact list. Further common problems. The incident involves some problem with the corporate intranet, or response leaders are making decisions based on invalid assumptions. Again, with Reflex, not a problem because it synchronizes with all mobile devices. So as tasks are completed, all participating members know the status. The Reflex backend notifies specified people if a team member is not participating, and it can suggest substitutes. If we go to key point number 2, it eliminates communication inefficiencies. Right now, in incident response plans, there's a lot of emailing and texting, and this creates a massive amount of problems and inefficiencies. Now, to fix that, Reflex has built in a messaging functionality. It's a pager, so it's like email, and that it's for sending text messages. The difference here is that all messages are bound to the instance of the incident. So on completion of the incident, messages are bound to an incident archival object. And for instance, a sender can mark a message as critical. If response is not sent to a sender in a given period of time, the backend performs a specified function such as notifying the CISO that the plan has been installed. Reflex also incorporates virtual forums, so any step of the incident response plan can have a virtual forum with posts and responses just like a web forum. The forums are synchronized between the devices of all participants, and the forum discussions are archived with the incident data. Key point number 3 is the increased speed of response. Now, there are a lot of studies out there. I just want to highlight one, which is the one IBM commissioned to the Ponemon Institute in California, which basically says that the greatest factor in decreasing the cost associated with handling breach data was found to be the speed and efficiency of the response team. Craig has a funny story about when he was working with Kaspersky in Moscow, how they couldn't locate a particular individual, and that led to a cost of the company north of $30 million. If we look at key point number 4 on slide number 12, it improves incident response plan testing. So Reflex allows incident simulation and removes the need for tabletop exercises. It provides capability of practice runs around the clock. It provides regulatory proof that minimal manual test was conducted, and it eliminates the chance of audit findings regarding testing. So CISOs don't need to testify falsely. Key point number 5, the archive data, we mentioned that in key point number 2. This is extremely important. It's critical. All data is archived. So you know exactly everything about the plan, how long it took to complete each step, the names of the participants and what they did, the message and the virtual forums, they're all archived together into a read-only archive. So the archives can then be studied and compared, and this is extremely useful for cases going forward with any client you might have. It's also extremely useful for just doing trend analysis. And finally, it's proof. There's incident response proof if you're archiving the data. So if an incident results in litigation, there's proof of how the incident was handled. In some EU countries, management is held personally responsible, which is resulting in huge fines and taking away their personal assets. Key point number 6, the consulting business. So, if you're configuring Reflex for a customer, that customer would reveal weaknesses in the customer's information security program. Identifying those weaknesses will allow you to offer supplemental services. Each customer would need plans developed for every type of incident. And then, of course, there's white labeling. White labeling Reflex for Prosegur would associate Prosegur with cutting-edge technology, surpassing established information security service providers, which I think is probably something you find quite interesting. So what is Reflex's value added? Let's go over the 6 key points that we just mentioned. It minimizes problems which often lead to incident response plan failure. It allows the CISO and the corresponding members of each plan to communicate much more effectively. It decreases the response time and by default decreases the economic impact of the incident significantly. It ensures incident response plans can be tested easily. It provides ongoing utility by archiving the data in a very organized manner so that future incidents can be avoided. And Reflex can help Prosegur become a leader among information security service providers and consultants. I hope we have the chance to discuss in more detail Reflex and some of the more technical aspects, which Craig will be very happy to answer for all of you. Thank you.